Chloe's Instagram looks like she's got it all figured out. The reformer pilates, the matcha runs, the aesthetic weekend getaways, the grid is immaculate. But here's what it doesn't show. She's 24, earning £1,500 a month, still living with her parents and has absolutely nothing in savings. The problem is, if she carries on spending like this, she'll never be able to afford to move out or start to invest for her future. I'm Brandon and I've been investing for over 8 years, building a multi-six-figure portfolio in the process. And today we're breaking down another bank statement to help somebody else start investing for their future. So very quickly, to give you the full picture, as we mentioned, we've got Chloe, the 24-year-old nail tech, earning a salary of £21,000 per year. She's still living with her parents and has her car on PCP. She's got no savings, which isn't ideal, but she also has no credit card debt, which is great. It's something to get working with. However, she does have a small bill on Klarna outstanding for £350. As far as I'm concerned, when you are in your 20s and still living at home with your parents, you have a huge advantage to get ahead financially. So why do Chloe's finances not reflect this? Well, we're going to see exactly why, because the bank statement shows all. And for the month of June, Chloe came out with a balance of £23.50. And how she got to that number, we will see at the end of the statement. But starting from the top, we have that salary coming in every month at £1,553. Now, it's not the most impressive salary I've ever seen, I understand that, but when you're living at home with your parents, it's definitely enough to work with. And the evidence behind that is going to be shown right now, because when it comes to essential spending, Chloe pretty much has £200 on rent, which is her parents' choice, her phone bill going out for £58 a month, and her car cost. This doesn't include the PCP, it is solely just the running costs, so we're talking about the tax, the insurance and the fuel, of £147.50. This means that Chloe's essential spend comes to £405.50 for the month, which is just 26% of that take home. So where is the rest of the money going? Now, usually when we put these videos together, we have 3 different spend categories. We have the essentials, the allow it, and then the come on mate, which is a complete no-go. Now, today's video is a little bit different because we still have them essentials that we've just discussed, but now we just have one big blurred category. The reason for this is because I wouldn't want to put everything in one category or the other. Chloe can still enjoy her life. She can still do things that she wants to do. She just needs to cut back in certain areas, but unfortunately I'm not the person to make that decision because I don't know what her priorities are when it comes to her hobbies and her social life. And being honest, it probably doesn't help that I'm a male and she's a female, because a lot of these things I could very easily turn off, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be the same situation here for Chloe. So first up on the list, we have Pilates for £100, a £25 a week class. We've then got retail therapy, clothes shopping at £120. Bearing in mind this is on top of that £350 outstanding Klarna bill that is already set to be paid. We've got subscriptions for £23. This is definitely on the lower end. I don't really think there's much we can do about that here. Skincare for £44, beauty treatments for £64, and then trips/holidays for £200. Now, I don't mind when people save for holidays in advance or pay for them upfront. It's definitely better than putting them on a credit card. So I don't think that's too much of a bad spend here. We've then got the matcha runs or the coffees at £58 for the month. The home decor, so we're talking candles and these kinds of things. I think a lot of girls like these. I personally don't understand the obsession, but £28 there. And then we have brunches for £145. So one of the bigger spends within the statement. And then finally, we come across that PCP plan, that car finance at £240 for the month. Now, it isn't the biggest amount in the world. We have definitely seen bigger PCP plans on this channel before, but it's all relative to what that person is earning. And I personally live by a rule that if you are going to finance a car, then it should not be over 10% of your income. However, for Chloe, this is roughly around 15.5%, and it's actually more than what she's giving her parents in rent. And again, that's their choice. But when I look at this, it kind of brings up a red flag. And then to wrap it up, we've got taxes at £38 for the month. Total outflow for this big leisurely category comes to £1,124, which is roughly around 72% of that income. Overall, the total outflow comes to £1,529.50, which is exactly why we have that £23.50 balance remaining at the end of the month. Let's start with the positives of this bank statement. First of all, she's not gone over the amount that's coming in. She's not gone into her overdraft, which is always a good start. And she's putting £200 away each month into a holiday pot and avoiding using credit cards. She's young, she's enjoying herself, and she's living a pretty nice lifestyle right now. But this isn't always going to be the case if she carries on like this. However, when it comes to the negatives of this bank statement, it's very clear that she's going to be screwed when she comes in to contact with the real world, because she's just spending over £1,000 a month right now on unessential stuff, on lifestyle. And it wouldn't surprise me if she didn't even realize how much she's spending on her lifestyle every single month, because so many of these transactions, these categories, are coming in at £100 or even £50 or less. And it's a very, very dangerous game when all of these transactions start to tally up and you don't even realize it. And this is exactly why we need to now run the numbers and make some changes so that Chloe can start to save up, invest, or even buy her first home. When it comes to cutting back spend and budgeting, we have to be very realistic. She's 24 years old and she's not gonna stop spending everything in that unessential category. What we usually do is look at the individual spend categories that are the easiest to cut out, or the ones doing the most damage. But today's a little bit different, partly because I'm male and I don't understand a woman's priorities here, and partly because I don't really care. You've got so much going on, so many different spending categories when it comes to home decor, when it comes to beauty treatments, skincare, brunches. You know, there is a lot of different things going on, and I don't really care which ones Chloe cuts back on. I just want to see her cut back on around 20%. So again, for me, that is completely realistic. I'm not saying to cut back by 50 or 70%, just 20% each month. This would leave Chloe with around £225 per month to invest. Now, based on an average return of the S&P 500 historically, we're looking at around 10% a year. And given Chloe's age, just 24, she could let this compound and run it up for the next 36 years, taking her to 60, which is younger than the average retirement age in the UK right now. And this would leave her with a pot of £850,000 for her future, tax-free, because she would be able to utilise a stocks and shares ISA. Now, I don't know about you, but trading £225 per month for an £850,000 retirement top-up doesn't sound like a bad deal to me. And just to remind you, she would still have roughly £900 each month to spend on whatever she wants. However, if her priority is to lock in on a house deposit first, the numbers do change a little bit because we need to do it with a bit more urgency. So cutting back the spend by around 30% rather than 20% would leave her with around £337 each month to invest. Now, based on those same returns, but this time over a 5-year period, she's going to have roughly around £26,000. And even if she doesn't want to take on the risk of the stock market, she could use a lifetime ISA and come out with a very similar amount. And even if she takes this slightly more aggressive approach, she's still going to have £800 every month to spend on whatever she wants. If you're watching this and you're still living with your parents whilst earning some money, just please think about these numbers and take advantage of the opportunity you've got, because trust me, when you move out, when you've got bills to pay, it's gonna get a lot harder to save or invest. All right, so let's put a roadmap in place for Chloe to follow over the coming months and years so she can get her finances on track and going in the right direction. Step number 1 is to clear the Klarna payment. We don't need to have £350 on an outstanding balance when we're spending over £1,000 a month on just simple lifestyle. Step number 2 is to build up a small emergency fund. Now, I recommend for everybody to do this, and I think in Chloe's situation with the low amount of overheads that she has in her essential spending, she could just put together around £1,000 to £1,500, and it's just a nice little rainy day fund. Step number 3 is an optional step if this is still what she wants to do, but it would be to start saving more aggressively at first over the next 5 years for that house deposit. Based on the projections we just looked at, she would have roughly around £25,000 to £26,000 when she turns 29. Will this be enough for a house deposit at that time? We cannot say for sure, but it's definitely a good foundation to build on. And if she meets a partner in the future who also has been fairly financially savvy over the last few years, they should be in a good enough position. And step number 4, once that house deposit is done, is to keep the good habits rolling and to transfer any money that she can into her investment portfolio. Now we know that her numbers are going to change in the future. If she moves out, she's going to see the real world for what it is and have a lot more to pay for on a monthly basis. But we also have to keep in mind that her salary and income could potentially move up alongside that. So what Chloe will be able to afford to invest in 5 years is a complete unknown right now. But the purpose of this video is to just paint the picture and to build those good habits and those good foundations. However, despite Chloe living a nice looking life on Instagram, even people with no social life at all can still be struggling financially. Last week, we took a look at Jake, a 26-year-old software developer who literally never leaves the house, but still has nothing to show for it. Here we've got two people with two very different lifestyles, but they both come to the same outcome when it comes to their finances. So if you want to check out that video, I'll leave it somewhere on the screen right now so you can click it and go and check it out.